All right, today we're jumping into something that is, well, it's one of the toughest parts of leadership. We're talking about the real cost, the hidden cost of making peace. It's messy, it takes guts, but it is absolutely essential. So let's dive right in. So, our story kicks off right here. And this quote, it sets the scene perfectly. We're in the middle of a long, bitter war. And I mean, this isn't just some political disagreement. This is a deep, painful civil war. And that backdrop, that really deep division, is so important because it's into that chaos that someone is about to try and bring peace. Welcome to another edition of the Doer's Digest. If you're someone who is trying to lead a team or a family or maybe even a whole community through some kind of conflict, then yeah, this one is definitely for you. So that brings us to the big question, right? What does it really cost to build a bridge right in the middle of a war? And we're not just talking about money or materials here. We're talking about risk. We're talking about reputation. We're talking about pure courage. And that's our central theme for today, the Peacemaker's cost. We're going to unpack all of that, and we'll be using a really powerful, timeless story to guide us. Okay, so our anchor text is 2 Samuel chapter 3. And look, this is not some neat and tidy fable with a simple moral. No, it's a raw, gritty portrait of what a fragile peace actually looks like. It's got secret meetings, shifting allegiances, moments where the whole thing could just fall apart. So let's take a closer look at this portrait of a fragile peace. Let's see who the key players are in this incredibly high-stakes situation. And boom, here it is, the pivotal moment. Abner, who is the opposing general, he's the enemy. He walks right into David's camp and makes this unbelievable offer to unify the kingdom. Can you just imagine the tension in that room? This is the guy who has been propping up the other side, and now he's saying, hey, I'll help you tear it all down and bring everyone over to you. Wow. So how does David respond? This is what's so fascinating. He doesn't spike the football, he doesn't declare victory. Instead, he shows this measured openness, restraint. Now that is a super dangerous move. His own guys, the hotheads on his team, they probably see this as weakness. His allies are definitely suspicious. But David gets something here that they don't. He knows that true, legitimate peace needs the right kind of soil to grow in. And that soil? It's restraint. See, a quick victory might feel good in the moment, but it just poisons the ground for any real, lasting reconciliation. It's restraint that creates the space, that tiny bit of breathing room, where trust just might have a chance to start. So, digging into our anchor text, we find 3 timeless truths for any leader who's trying to navigate conflict. And these really explain why David took such a risky approach. Okay, here they are. First, peacemakers are risky gifts. Second, you've got to honor the messenger, not just wait for the success. And third, and this one is so crucial, real leadership knows how to separate justice from revenge. Let's break each of those down. All right, that first one, peacemakers are risky gifts. Think about it. The very person who can end a war, well, they often have a past you can't just forget. A complicated, maybe even a painful history. So welcoming them isn't about ignoring what they've done. It's about having the courage to see a different future. And yeah, it means you're going to risk being totally misunderstood by your own people. Okay, the second truth. Honor the messenger. In our anchor text, Abner, this bridge builder, is tragically murdered. And what does David do? He grieves. Publicly. Loudly. Now, why is that so important? Because it sends a crystal clear message to everybody watching. We will not reward treachery. By doing this, he's protecting the very possibility of peace down the road. He's honoring the effort, even though in this case, it failed. And that brings us to our third and maybe most important truth, which this slide lays out so well. A leader has to choose justice over revenge. Just look at the difference here. Revenge, it's all private. It's personal. It's that hot, knee-jerk retaliation that just keeps the cycle of violence going. But then you have justice. Justice is different. It's about finding the truth, restoring order, and protecting the whole community. A leader's job is to break the cycle, not spin it faster. Okay, so those are the big principles. Now let's get practical. This is the Doer's Digest, after all. So let's build your toolkit. This is all about how we turn these ancient ideas into action today. All right, so from this story, we can pull out 4 really concrete steps. First, you receive. That means you're cautious, for sure, but you're also respectful. Second, you protect. You shut down any secret violence and make it clear you stand for the rule of law. Third, you honor. You publicly give credit to the people trying to build bridges. And finally, you safeguard. You create clear, predictable ways for reconciliation to actually happen. So remember that: receive, protect, honor, and safeguard. And listen, this isn't just stuff for ancient kings and generals, right? Look how this plays out in our own lives. At work, maybe a former competitor joins your team. You don't freeze them out, you introduce them transparently. Maybe you even assign a neutral mentor to help build trust. Or in your family, when a relative who's caused a lot of pain wants to reach out, you don't just jump in. You might bring in a mediator to make sure everyone feels safe and can be honest. It's the exact same principle: protect the process.
So as we start to wrap up, I just want to leave you with a final bit of encouragement. Think of this as a little pep talk, especially for those of you who are right there on the front lines trying to make peace happen. By all means, welcome the person who shows up offering peace, but please don't be naive. This is not about blind trust. It's about knowing that you can be generous and wise at the exact same time. It's possible to make room for reconciliation while still fiercely protecting the people who are vulnerable. And always remember this: when you calmly and publicly honor the people who try to build bridges, even when their efforts don't work out, you're doing something remarkable. Your actions become an invitation for everyone else who's watching to choose the harder, but much, much better path. Let's close with this short prayer. Lord, give me the courage to receive peacemakers, the wisdom to guard the process, and a heart that knows how to mourn rightly when violence tries to steal our hope. Teach me to honor those who build bridges, and to lead with steady justice, not hot revenge. Amen.